do this detective story. They're going to shoot it up in Toronto, and the damn investors pulled out just 2 days ago. I'm like, Gary. He goes, oh man, I thought we had this one in the bag. But he's a producer. He's over in Florida, and he's the one. He claims to be one of the five greatest experts in the Anunnaki. Right?
Wow.
Right. So anyway, if you ever look into this thing, Alexander Sitchin was the man. He was a linguist, and he was able to decipher all these tablets, okay, because he was a linguist. He knew ancient Hebrew.
Wow.
And he goes, this is really close to ancient Hebrew, this language, because he found 22,000 tablets.
Whoa!
In 1848. This story, oh my God, it totally throws the Bible in the trash can, because it tells all about how the Bible was made. It tells exactly all in this stuff. 22,000 tablets of this shit. Yeah, and everything was written down, because one thing, it started with nuclear war, it ended with nuclear war. One guy decided to write the whole history of their whole damn civilization. That's how it happened. Yeah, his name was Enki. And, oh yeah.
So and he decided to write the history of his civilization? Like, right. And he just invented the history of his civilization?
No, he was there because you never die in their civilization.
Oh.
You never die.
Oh.
You die, but you don't die. Okay? It's kind of weird. But anyway, the whole story started with, they had a planet like ours. It was similar to Earth. But in the opposite solar system of ours, like we have the sun, right? Then you have Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars and right like that. Well, their planet is called Nibiru. There's 12 planets.
Nibiru. I've been seeing more of this popping up in the YouTube videos.
Yeah, it rotates this way around the sun. So every 3,600 years, it comes around by Earth. Okay, and it flies in between Earth and Mars. This planet every 3,600 years.
Wow.
Okay, most of the time it doesn't cause any interference. Sometimes it does. That's where Noah comes in, because Nibiru caused the Great Flood. And they knew all this was going to happen ahead of time because they were already here, and they ordered Noah, hey, we'll do all the DNA, because it wasn't animals. What they said was, we gave them DNA samples. Because
the Anunnaki already knew about that, huh?
Oh,
DNA stuff?
What they are is that they're almost like a primitive alien. That's what I figure. Very close to us, very close in human features. They have hair, okay? They're, what I figure, about 250,000 years ahead of us, technology-wise. So what happened was, okay, let me start from the beginning. They had a planet like ours, okay? They had all the different countries and everything else. Anyway, they had nuclear war, okay? And as soon as they had nuclear war, then they became one country. The whole world became one leader. Because then everything was wiped out, and they had to start all over again. And it screwed up their atmosphere, okay, after it was all said and done. So what they found out was if they could go there and get gold, they could vaporize it, put it in the atmosphere, and it would cause like an umbrella around their planet to save their planet. And they also knew that the volcanic gases also helped their planet by adding the gases to their atmosphere. So what this guy did, he was the ruler. It was Analu. Analu was the ruler, and he said, hey, let's take these nuclear weapons, and let's blow up every fucking volcano we have on our planet trying to get these damn things to erupt again. Well, what he did was he fucked up the whole planet.
Oh, no.
So he gets exiled off his planet. They said, no, get the fuck out of here. So he jumps on a spacecraft, and he goes, I'm going to fix the planet. I fucked it up. I'm going to fix it. So he takes off, and he knows because of the asteroid belt, okay? Because Nibiru caused the asteroid belt.
Holy shit.
Because it came so close, it destroyed one of the planets. It was too close to the gravitational pull of the planet. This is all written. This is written shit.
In the 22,000 tablets.
This is stuff 55,000 years old written. Okay, we don't know anything previous to 35,000 years ago. They won't release this shit. This is stuff that's 55,000 years old, recorded records. Okay, so Analu comes here. He goes in there and he finds gold, because he knew that there was gold on the inside of the solar system, because the asteroid that the planet that blew up that caused the asteroid belt caused us to have gold. Okay, so they knew this already. So he comes here looking for gold, and he finds gold. So he basically radios back to his planet and says, "Hey, man, I found gold." So they bring his son, because he had a son back on the planet, brought his 2 sons here because they have a lot of the same philosophy of like the Arab countries where women are nothing and men are everything type of thing.
The Anunnakis?
The Anunnaki. Oh, yeah. Similarities between Arabs and the Anunnaki, because that's where they migrated to. That's where they set up home, basically.
The Anunnaki did?
Yeah. In Iraq. Center of Iraq. That's where they found the tablets in 1848.
Wow.
So anyway, so he radios back, says, "Hey, man, I found gold." So they bring this posse of people over here to go check it out. They go, "Oh, yeah, we found gold. Yeah, cool. All right, let's set up a network here. And you, since you found it, you can be the ruler. You can't be the ruler of our planet, but you're the ruler of Earth now." Right? So he goes, "Okay, cool. I'm the ruler of Earth." So they brought...
so wait, real quick, as a side note, was he able to save the planet because of the gold? Or was he still working on it at this point?
Still working on it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they didn't get that far because they had another nuclear war. It was actually his grandson who started it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a rift between 2 grandsons.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
First he ruins the planet, then his grandson does another one.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
But the funny thing is, when he leaves his planet, he takes with him 7 nuclear bombs with him, okay? Because he needed them to get through the atmosphere, okay? To move the rocks around enough through the asteroid belt to get through the asteroid belt to get to Earth. So he takes 7 nuclear bombs.
So like to clear it, so to speak, to kind of make a
window for
interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So he would just shoot it out into space and blah, it would explode.
And blow a hole through so he can get through.
Incredible idea.
That's what the guy did. Okay, so then, so there's 5 bombs left. He hides them in a cave. He says, "We'll use them later." Okay, because we know how bad they are because we already saw what they do. We can go there and stash the 5 bombs for later. Okay. So anyway, so what they do, the Anunnaki, is they send 900 of their people to 600 to Earth, 300 to Mars.
Interesting.
Okay, to set up a home base on Mars because they needed a refueling station because Mars had so much water and life at the time that it was a great place to catapult from Earth to Mars to Nibiru. It was like a launching pad. And they also set up one on the dark side of the moon. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing shit. 55,000-year-old tablets are saying this shit. Okay? So anyway, they come here, and there's 600 of them here, 300 of them on Mars, setting up this thing. That's, okay. So what happens is, they finally, they're starting to harvest gold, but there's only 600 of them. They're like, "Man, we got to do something here. We don't have enough people to do this." So they took these, they go, "Whoa, there's this Cro-Magnon man over here, real hairy-looking ape thing. Oh, let's get one of those and play with it." So they start playing around with it with their own DNA. They said, "Okay, let's see what we can make." Okay, we made a man. First, they could only make females, and they couldn't figure out how to make the male. Then they finally figured out how to make the male. Then they put the 2 together, and they couldn't mate. Babies were all fucked up. They couldn't do it, and they kept trying and changing their DNA and shit, until they finally made us. Okay? But we had, because they were immortal, and these creatures weren't, they would live to be 800 or 900 years old. That's why if you look in the Bible, Noah lived to be 900 and something years old. King Solomon ended up 700 and something years old. All these guys ended up being 700, 800 years old. Okay, that's the reason why. So anyway, where was I in the story? This story is crazy.
So they were like, "Okay, let's mess with that guy." Did they have like science laboratories or something to be able to do this? Or?
It was Anki who did it, the guy who wrote all these tablets. Him and his son were the geneticists. And they kept playing around until they got it right.
So he brought instruments with him when he came here on the ship? Or how?
Yeah, they brought all kinds of shit.
Oh.
Because this is over thousands of years that they were doing this.
Oh, so there was still... They would keep traveling here?
They came here 445,000 years ago to Earth. Okay? They set it up... They had colonies all set up about 200,000 years ahead. They were here by themselves for about 200,000 years before they start making man.
Wow.
Yeah, and they said, "We got to do something. This shit's not working, and our planet's dying, so let's make a workforce." And that's what they did. So, lo and behold, They have this big, huge workforce. They set up a city. They had cities all over the damn place mining gold. Mozambique, they had a city of 350,000 people there that were mining like hundreds of thousands of years ago. They're finding the archaeological evidence of this stuff now, of these ancient cities that were huge in these mining towns. Wow. Okay, so then there ends up being a riff again. One of them gets exiled. Okay, one of them stays. Okay, one of them takes over Egypt, declares himself the sun god Ra, and that's where that came from. Okay, the other one says, hey man, I don't want anything to do with you guys. I'm gonna go over to the Americas. So he takes a ship over to the Americas, and he sets up home base on the Americas. So that's why you got the Mayans and the Incas and all the pyramids and shit here, because it's all. And
it was built
by the Annunaki. Okay, they talk about how they cut the rocks through sound waves. Their spacecraft ran on water, so they had to use Mars as the refueling station because Mars had the most water of any planet around.
What? More than Earth?
Right. Okay.
Whoa.
So then what happens is, here comes Nibiru, coming over the top, and the climate change is changing big time. And they're saying, hey man, this thing's going to get way too close to Earth. Oh shit, we're fucked, right? So what they do is they go there and they get Noah. Okay, still cool. So they get Noah. Hey Noah, build this ark, build this ship, okay? And we're going to put all the DNA on there. Not animals, just DNA, okay? And you are in charge of this because everybody on Earth is going to get wiped out on this flood. That's what they're saying. And he's like, oh shit, okay. So he and a whole bunch of Anunnaki, they took 100 Anunnaki, plus a whole bunch of the workers, and they built this ark. Soon as Nibiru's coming over the top, Anunnaki go, bye! They jump on their ships and they leave. They're like, fuck that, because they didn't care about us. We were just slaves to them. So they fucking split. And they watched this whole thing happen. Right before it happens, what happened is what's happening now. Antarctica's melting. What happened was that the ice became so soft. Nibiru came over the top, okay, heated up the planet, okay, with the gravitational force, and knocked the whole chunk of ice off of South Antarctica into the ocean at one time, causing a huge tidal wave.
Oh my gosh.
That went all around the world, that traveled for 7 days.
Wait, from that one big thing falling into the
ocean.
What the heck?
Yeah, you know, if you take like a drop of water in a cup and you drop a piece of sand in it, it causes the ripple.
Oh yeah. Oh
okay?
yeah.
Can you imagine something as big as Antarctica falling in the ocean?
Oh my God.
So for 7 days, the water rushed all over the world, splashing all over the place, killing everything that was on the planet, except for some of the people in the Americas. It was far enough away from them.
Really?
Yeah. So they lived. The Incas and the Mayans and the Aztecs, they lived. They didn't get wiped out. But everybody on that side of the world got wiped out. So the Anunnaki, then it rained after that, like the Bible says, 40 days and 40 nights, because all that water was swished around and shit, and it all went up the atmosphere. Rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Then, after that was all done, the water all subsided, went back to normal, and there's Noah. Anunnaki came back and says, okay, let's repopulate the planet. But we still have some people over here. We're cool. The bad part was when Nibiru came around Earth, it took the atmosphere away from Mars. And Mars lost their atmosphere.
Oh no.
Okay, if you look at the face on Mars, okay, they talk about that in there.
Oh yeah, when you see would they talk about the face on Mars in these tablets? Yeah. Oh my God.
They talk about the pyramid on Mars, okay, because that was all built. Okay, after that happened, boom, okay, the planet comes over, fucks up Mars, fucks up the Earth, okay, they lose their atmosphere. The Anunnaki, the 300 that were there on the space station said, oh shit, we gotta get out of here. But they go, what do we do? What do we do? They said, we got to build a pyramid on Mars. We're going to build a pyramid on Earth. And we're going to send beacons so we know where to go. Because we lost our airports, we lost everything in the flood, and we lost everything over here.
Now, real quick, are they the ones who came up with the names Mars and Earth? Like, or did they have different names for them? Oh.
Earth was known as Eden.
Interesting.
The people that they named, they made, when they were making us, they made Adams and Eves. It wasn't just one Adam and Eve. It was 7 Adams and Eves. And that's when they finally put them together. They put 2 of them together. That's the original story of Adam and Eve. They put them over here and said, okay, you guys, procreate. Go ahead and make some
Which has
babies.
always been a big thing in people's brains. Like, okay, wait, did the babies just keep having sex with the babies? And, like, why wouldn't everybody just be mutated or something? But that explains why that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
then and then Enki was a horny motherfucker. He would go out there and have sex with all the concubines constantly. So he was messing up the whole pool, making his own breed, basically, at that time, too. So he was messing up the genetic pool on his own, on top of that. Yeah, some crazy-ass shit. That's where Cain and Abel came in.
Incredible.
That was his grandkids, Cain and Abel. The biblical story. Yeah.
And
then they also talk about, what was it, Cain? Was a womanizer, used to go and like fuck everybody in town. That was a story about him. It's in the Bible, where they talked about him in the Bible.
So did the Anunnaki write the Bible, or
It was there. They wrote the Bible to suppress man, and they didn't want those people to work so much. So that's why they gave them the 7th day off, because they didn't want to kill all their workers. All this stuff was all explained.
So they invented our mythology. Well, then, and on top of that, throughout all the years of kings and who knows what, then they would also alter the Bible too, right? To fit their own
needs.
King. Yeah.
And that's what the latter part of the Bible is. Yeah.
So, wow.
So then they made the beacons, right? They made the beacons, which is the 2 pyramids on Mars and 1 on Earth, right? And all of us started taking over. And they said, fuck this shit. And they packed up all their crap and they got the hell out.
Did they go back to Nibiru?
They went to Nibiru.
Did that ever
That was about
get
3000
cleaned back
BC.
up? Did it ever get cleaned back up or no?
We don't know.
Oh, okay. So we don't know if
That's
they
when the
used
story
that
ended.
gold to. Oh, interesting.
That's as far as we know. It was about 3000 BC.
What an interesting thing to think that. So
Oh, comes John.
I mean, it's just crazy to think that one of them wrote down this whole history, and did he bring that
He's
with him in
probably
this
still
ship?
alive today.
God, that would
The
be
same guy.
interesting.
Yeah, he still should be alive. Only 1 leader died. That was Annunaki. Annunaki, you'll love this story. His brother's in charge of Nibiru. He decides to come visit on the 2nd trip, and he says, "Hey, man, I want my planet back." And he goes, "Hell no, bro, you can't have your planet back." And their custom was to settle differences between leaderships that they would wrestle. So they had a wrestling match. And during the wrestling match, the one brother grabbed the other brother's dick and balls, bit him off,
No,
and ate him.
no way, no way, no way.
Well, brother got pissed.
Oh my God.
Put him on a ship with his personal limo driver, the space guy. Takes him to Mars and says, "Okay, instead of being the ruler, you're now the ruler of Mars." After the whole thing happened, and the guy stayed behind until he died. So there's bones of this guy in a cave somewhere in Mars. One of
That's
the leaders.
nuts.
Yeah. And they had a big ceremony and all this stuff for the guy because he's the only leader ever to die.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible to hear
Great
this.
story.
I mean, God, that is incrediable. That is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Hey John, I just told him almost the whole Annunaki story.
So, does someone have the possession of these tablets?
Oxford University. That's what Gary said. They're all sitting at Oxford University. They've taken pictures of them. They won't bring them out. There's over 22,000 of them.
Because they melted them down and got the money.
Probably did. Yeah.
So do you think that's possibly, this just popped in my brain, do you think that's possibly why gold became a valuable thing to the people here on Earth? Because they saw that it had value to the Anunnaki, and then they're wondering, why is that so valuable? And they're like, well, it must be valuable, so I'm going to hoard it for myself.
I
Not
bet.
realizing the actual true help that it could do, right? It's interesting you're talking about with the golden atmosphere. There's this guy who channels the spirit called Bashar, and I'll look at these videos, and that's one of the things that he talks about. He goes, you guys are using your gold all wrong. He goes, the gold is supposed to be, right now, if you were to take it up in the sky and just sprinkle it over, that would help your atmosphere immensely. It's like, and then we're sitting here going, why would that help? But the fact that you're bringing this up, and then it actually has roots way back then is quite...
That far back. Yeah.
Gosh, that's incredible.
And then ended nuclear war. which they have evidence of here on Earth. They talk about how the nuclear war caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. There was because wherever you find dinosaur bones, you find shards of glass from nuclear war. Because whenever you have a nuclear bomb blow up, that the ground and stuff will melt. Yeah, they never talk about that, but in the story they talk about that. They had nuclear war back then. It was
so they were the ones
of the brothers and got into it.
Was their version of the atom bomb the same version of our atom bomb? Like, in a sense, did we
Pretty damn
hack into their
close.
technology or something, or how did we?
No, we just evolved to the point where we can make our own. Or because they jump started us.
Wait, so those other bombs have not been found? I mean, they're buried someplace.
Where do you think my story's going?
Oh, geez. Oh, that's cool.
And my story's also going because one of the leaders, Mandak was his name. Mandak. That,
Well, hold on. Should I press stop on this? Do you want these ideas on here or no?
Oh no, go for it.
That's fine. Okay,
I don't
okay,
care.
cool,
I don't
cool,
give a
cool.
shit.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just so interesting.
Mandak, went there and screwed some shit up really bad, and they didn't want him anymore, right? So what they did is they kidnapped him, and they locked him up in the Pyramid of Giza, into a chamber, and they tried to ransom him off, right, to his family. And the family said, "Well, we don't want him." But what they did was they broke into the pyramid. If you ever look into the history of the
His
pyramid,
family broke into the
they
pyramid?
broke into the pyramid and got him out. There's damage to the pyramid on the inside of the building. And I remember reading about this, and they go, there must have been another chamber, blah, 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 because there was damage over here and damage over there.
Whoa.
Because all it was a beacon. There was a gold top on it. It used to hold jewels. And the jewels would illuminate through the top up into space as far as you could see, just forever.
Wow.
Yeah, and the same thing on Mars, because they have the two pyramids. And if you look at the pyramids on Mars, they're in the same configuration as the pyramids here on Earth. Exactly the same pyramids. Mandak, the guy that was in the pyramid, that was the head of the Sphinx. That was his face.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then his brother took over the rule after they exiled him and they got him out of the pyramid. Brother took over and said, let's get our engravers over there and change the face. I want to be on it. So they changed it twice.
What?
Yeah, they talk about all
my
this shit in there.
God.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, this was written way, way, way before we even knew anything about the Egyptians. This is stuff way back.
So
At least
they found the
13,000
tablets
BC.
in when did you say? 1800s?
1848
And they were found where again?
in Iraq, in an ancient city in Iraq.
And so they, so some guy was able to translate it because it looked like ancient
Until
Hebrew.
the 1970s.
So no wonder it looked like the ancient Hebrew looked like that. So in a sense, the Hebrew evolved from the ancient language, and oh my God, that's
Right.
just crazy when you think about those dots connecting like that.
Yeah.
So then he transcribed all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't that information get out
They've
there?
been trying. They've been trying for years.
God, that's crazy to think
they
that.
don't want anybody to know this shit because it would take religion, throw it in the trash can.
And it would take all the power away from them. Then we would have no more reason to be in servitude to.
Exactly.
Gosh, boy, oh boy,
Repression.
what a crazy thing.
Uh-huh.
So we're led to believe that we're these limited, bounded beings, but really we really have this unlimited possibilities.
Yeah.
God, that's just so crazy. It's so and it's so crazy. What's even crazier is the fact that there are those out there who know this information, who are giving the information to those of us and saying, "Look, you're far more than just this limited little being in this thing. You're as the old phrase goes, you're a spirit living as a human. Wait, you're a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience, right? Isn't that what it was? You're a spirit having a human experience. So you're actually just a human. You're the spirit
experience.
that's just walking around with this camouflage.
Uh-huh.
It's intriguing because, like, imagine if that was more of a widely, I like to believe in a parallel universe.
Oh, yeah,
that
me
information is widely, out there. And can you imagine the possibilities and the potentials and the freaking astounding things that are being done? Holy cow, in that parallel universe.
They talk about Machu Picchu in there. They talk about all the ancient airstrips that they had all over the place because they were mining gold all around the world, and they were sending it all up. And Mars was the transfer station, and how they carved the stones, because Temple of Babel, You ever read about the Temple of Babel? In the
That's
Bible?
supposed to be the thing that broke up, that made all the different languages, right?
Right, exactly. And the reason they did that was because they were communicating, the humans were communicating too much together.
Uh-oh,
And he wanted to break it apart because he wanted to keep his
Oh my
rule.
God, this is just making so much sense. That is so crazy to think. Like, okay, I don't want you guys. Your guys aren't gonna communicate with each other because then you can do conspiratorial things behind my
Against
back.
me.
And
That's what he did it for. Yeah.
so what did they do? They used their special machines to alter
They did
the
something.
language with these guys or something.
Yeah, change their language.
How many root languages do you think there were in the beginning?
Wow.
Like
a lot.
what, like right in the beginning times, like in that moment where he makes the decision where he goes, okay, I'm gonna make a bunch of
Yeah.
different languages for these guys.
Jeez, I don't know. It depends on how many were in the area at the time. That's another thing they talk about is how the Asians have less hair than the people in like the Mideast. Yeah. Yeah. They changed the genetics of the people in Asia.
Interesting.
All this weird
Like
shit
these
in
guys
there.
were artists. We were their sculptures. We were their
yeah.
living.
Oh yeah, and they didn't care about us at all. They didn't care about us. They were toys.
Now,
We were slaves.
do the tablets talk at all about like
No.
frequencies? And, oh no,
besides,
go on.
Besides for sex, they loved us for sex. Yeah, that was it.
Now so they had the same like sort of equipment
They
like
were very
lungs
close
and
to
everything.
us. They looked a lot like us. Very little difference. Besides their atmosphere they were taller than us, and that's why you hear the stories about the giants that they've had.
Oh yeah, and I've
Because
seen some of the pictures of those bones that they find. It's like what
that's
the heck?
Anunnaki stuff. Yeah.
So the Anunnaki were they were large
They were
beings,
taller
right?
people.
They were big.
Yeah, because they have less gravitational pull than Earth. So they said that the average person, the average Anunnaki was about 7 foot tall.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were taller than
So
us.
those giant bones that we see,
Yeah, the giant bones are about 7 feet tall, 7.5 feet. Yeah, some of them are up to 8.5. Those are Anunnaki.
so okay, wait, what was the next thing I was going to ask? Oh, okay. So did the Anunnaki have any run-ins with other extraterrestrials? Do they talk about that?
Didn't talk about that at all. But I believe I think they intermix because they're only about 200,000 years ahead of us, okay, which isn't very long at all, while the other civilizations are way ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that the other alien species probably just said, oh, okay, those are just those human things and they're not that important anyway. That's what I believe. Because there's just not enough gap, and they were so close to us anyway, the physical being. The pictures that they have, because they have, the tablets have engravings of what the people look like.
Wow.
And you can see the humans, and you can see the other ones are taller than them.
So were there photos taken of every single one of these? Like, for instance, can I access this on the internet?
Oh,
or
yeah, you can look at the scrolls.
Oh.
You can look up the tablets. They have pictures of all the tablets. Then, a lot of them have the flying, they're all flying. All these tablets, they had all these flying creatures.
So you say, okay, so the Ox, it's the what? It's the who? Which college? What did you say?
Oxford
Who has
College
it?
in England.
So
It was his name was Leighton, was the professor that found it. It was an archaeological discovery.
So, do they at all, like, I'm imagining my brain with, like, go there and, oh, here are the tablets. You're able to see the tablets? Like, they show them?
No, they will not.
Oh.
According to Gary, they originally went to Oxford University, and nobody said a word about them since. They were photographed, and you can see the photographs, but you'll never be able to see the
Does
tablets.
anyone, like, if you go to Oxford University and you ask people about it, how many people there do you think would actually know what
Probably
is on those
none.
tablets or anything about it?
They would probably deny that they even exist.
God,
Yeah. It's
do you think it's their own reasons, or do you think that there's someone higher up telling them do not give out that
I
information?
think it's somebody up. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because if you look at it, if it debunks, even if it debunked Catholicism, that's 2 billion people that are going to say, "Oh my God, this isn't my God." All of a sudden, I think you're going to cause a huge upheaval in the whole world if that happens. I think that's probably the main reason why they're not doing it. That's the only reason I could think of. And then it's like the UFO stuff and everything else they suppress from us. It's always suppression. They never want to tell us anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Just the other day, I was thinking about that. It blasted in my brain again. That idea of I remember hearing decades ago about how the military has like basically whatever technology we have is 30 years behind whatever the military has, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So then, I mean, that was, like 20 or 30 years, who knows how long ago I heard that.
Right.
Now, between then and now, and seeing how fast technology evolves, imagine the military's technology might be 100 or 150 years in the future, if you think about it.
Right.
And we're like 150 years behind in technology.
Right.
So it's like, holy mo, because each year, I mean, you see, it's like a Fibonacci sequence. It's not just like one little addition here. It's like, and
huge,
now you got a refrigerator that has a computer in it, and now you have an iron that's got you can watch your TV while you're ironing your clothes. It's like, what? So
Crazy. Technological advances are just nuts now. Yeah.
I think, this was one of the other things that I realized was that I'm seeing more and more, like, more and more truth coming to the surface now. That was interesting. One of the
internet.
So thank God that the internet exists, because it's like it's now bringing all this stuff to light, all this truth, all that stuff that people are trying to suppress. Guess what? Hey, everybody, here it is. It's shining a light. The rocks are being opened, and the light's being shined on it, and all the lizards are scurrying. And so what's happening with that is, I'm already seeing remnants of that now. It's only a matter of time till it really hits the tipping point, and then everything comes spilling out all at once. The tablets, the UFOs,
You name it.
who
everything.
knows, And then we find out that the Earth actually really is flat, like, huh? And then we hear about the hollow Earth, and by the way, this person is a reptile, and you're like, oh my God, and you start hearing all this, you're going, whoa. I mean, that just must be such a crazy thing, because especially like for people who have, especially especially old people, it's hard to change. It's hard to change. So they've built this belief system. They're, it's like they've got all this like barnacle build up on them, throughout the years. And
it's not like
so then,
that.
So then if you go, this is actually what is, can you imagine like how much that could like drive someone insane? Because they're going, oh my God, my entire belief system, ever since a little kid, and my parents and my grandparents and grandparents and grandparents and all my ancestors all believe this, which has been instilled into me, which has been reinforced by the media and the news, et cetera, et cetera. What are you saying? It's all the complete opposite?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that
was like,
nuts.
like the Indians, the American Indian story. Did we ever?
No.
What did the U.S. government do to the American Indians? Basically, it was genocide, right? What happened when we were in school? What did they tell you? How they destroyed the Indians, how they beat up the Indians, everything was against the Indians, and the Indians were bad. No, the Indians were protecting themselves. They're not bad. And you don't look at stuff like that, because it goes back to suppression. Where you taught to believe. Right now, you see this with the Trump stuff, okay? I'm not a big fan of Trump, but... Okay, you have these immigration laws. It says that you can go there and do this. He's using these poor kids as an example, but he's doing it to help us generally by not having other immigrants come into our country. Now he just put this huge tariff on China. Okay, now guess what? We're not going to be buying Chinese goods. Now we're going to have more American jobs. Okay. But the media plays it up as, how bad this is, how bad that is, how bad this is, instead of looking at the big picture. Okay? He's looking down the road, we're looking at today. Okay? Now, if we looked ahead, okay, we might agree with some of his philosophies. I don't agree with everything because he's using these poor little kids as martyrs. No, they shouldn't be martyrs. They should be with their moms and dads. But, it is what it is at this point, and we just got to progress as humans, I guess. I don't know. We're just kind of stuck.
And I think that's going to be one of the things too when this tipping point comes and we start learning how many of those journalists are actually CIA operatives who are using their what is that? What do they call that op? What is that called? It's the oh gosh, what do they do? What is that called? It's that system where they plant a lot of questions in people's brains where they don't know what's real or what's not anymore. There's that quote, that famous quote where it goes, well, if the general public is at a point where they don't know what's real and what's not anymore, then we've done our job. If they disbelieve everything or they believe, then we've done our job. Where, because then there's no way to put a finger on anything, and it's like like they say, they could try to catch the slippery pig that's all like greased up, and you're like, how are you gonna catch this thing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's I think what's interesting is, as little kids, we're taught from the very, very, very beginnings which is then reinforced through sports. We're taught at a very early age, us versus them. Us versus them.
Yeah.
Us versus them. They're the bad guys, we're the good guys.
Yeah.
And all the
Win and
wars that
lose.
they tell us throughout the years, all the wars. Well, what if we flip it? And I like to think about this with the parallel universe. And then in a parallel universe, they're talking about all the cooperative and all the collaborations, all the cooperation and the collaborations that came throughout the years. You know, all the great inventions that came because these two guys put their minds together.
Yeah.
All the great art that came together because these guys put their minds together. Even, why not give us band, history about the bands? Why not give us history about there are a bazillion different things that they could be telling us about how to cooperate, how to work with others, how to appreciate others' ideas, and how to blend your styles together when you're working with others. Like, holy moly, could you imagine how effective that could be if that's what we were taught at a very early age? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like look what has happened with sports. Like, that's one thing that always pops in my brain.
Teamwork.
Is the idea. Yes, you got the teamwork aspect, which is
Exactly.
beautiful. They got that aspect. Now, it's so funny because it starts as kids' games, and then someone goes, I can make some money on this somehow, and then all of a sudden now
Yeah.
people are killing each other out on the fields because of, like you see the soccer hooligans and all that stuff, stabbing each other on the fields. You're going, look, you guys, let's harken back to when we were little kids and we're just having fun in the yard and we're kicking around a soccer ball. Like, that's what this is,
Yeah.
you guys. That's what this is supposed to be.
Everything's become too serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the consequences.
And then the teamwork aspect is kind of just a hidden on the
John
side.
mentioned something to me that was really funny today. Okay, he was a high school senior in 1966. He had a .22 rifle. Okay, that he had. No, it was a single. What did he tell me? Single shot, something or other rifle. And his friend wanted to buy it from him, so he took it to school. The gun. Nobody said a word to him. He handed the rifle to his friend. His friend gave him the money. His friend stuck it over there in the corner, took it home with him from school. No administrator at school said a word to him. None of the students said a word to him because they knew that it was there, that he wasn't going to shoot up the school. Okay, now today, you see a gun at school and it's like, run and hide, let's get the cops and everything else. Goes back to, I think we're, as a civilization, becoming more barbaric as we go. And you look at some of these countries in the world that are actually progressing as throughout, becoming more civilized, mostly. You look at like Germany. I did some research on Germany. Germany has 60 million people. Okay, 60 million people. You know how many prisoners they have in the whole country of Germany? 246 out of
What
60
the heck?
million, right? Okay, I had a friend of mine
What, like in jail, you mean?
in jail, in prison. 246 inmates in the whole country of 60 million.
Wow.
Okay, you have 40 million in California.
What? Which is so
Okay.
crazy because the Americans are always going, oh yeah, the Germans. They're always shitting on the Germans all the
Right.
time. The Germans just take it. I'm German. I just take it. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, whatever. Right.
But it's crazy to hear that.
I had a friend of mine. He's pushing 70. He has some top secret clearances, and something was breached, and he was actually detained at county jail in L.A. for 2 weeks for questioning. They never charged him of anything. They just wanted to make sure that he was clean. He spent two weeks there. Just in county jail alone, in the holding tank, they hold 2,000 people. Okay? And you have 246 in the whole country of Germany?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we got something wrong.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was telling John, this morning they found a 17-year-old girl shot to death, 3 bullets in her head on the street over in San Pedro, right down the street from us. Okay. Would you see that in Germany? No. Not with 246 prisoners. What's wrong with us? There's something wrong with us. Yeah.
It's
the violence, the gas station stuff, you name it. It wasn't like that
I think
before.
what's wrong with us is it's a manufactured wrong with us. I think it's a completely manufactured
You're
wrong
right.
with us situation where, you know better than anybody else concerning the medical stuff, and I mean, gosh, and both of us, we both understand what the media and the news can do to alter brains and move them in certain directions. I was watching these, there are 3 girls that were in this band called the Prettiets, and I was watching their music, and the one girl was just talking about how she's like, oh yeah, this is a song I sang my therapist, and she's like, I promise I won't commit suicide today. And I'm going, how old are you? How old are you? And you already have a therapist, and you're already talking about dying. You're probably like 20 years old. And it's like, that is ridiculous that anyone, well, at any age should feel that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's reinforced by all of these news items where it's like...
It's festered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, here are all these problems with these people with all these issues. And here, you need this vitamin. And who knows, or not vitamin, but you need this pill and you need this pill. Well, yet they're not talking about what they're dropping in our tap water. They're not talking about what they're spraying in the skies. They're not talking about all the stuff they're hiding, the fluoride, the whatever's in the, I don't know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Ultra sensitivity. That's what I see. You buy a new car, you have your climate controls for your passenger seat and your driver's seat. Your the Craftmatic bed where you can sleep on one side and then change the settings. Everybody's become if the temperature's not 72 degrees, everybody's it's hot or it's cold or everybody freaks out over any little diversity now, instead of just sucking it up and saying, okay, here I am, let's live life.
Well, it's funny because it's crazy when you think about because every once in a while I think about, okay, if I were a villain and I was sort of in charge of governmental things or a country or whatever. What kind of tactics would I use to try to keep these people in obedience to me? And I go, okay, well, I'd hijack their media outlets. I'd probably put some secret things in that. I'd tell them, oh, you need those vaccines, and I put some secret things in there that later pop up that you don't realize had to do with that vaccine. Oh, why is everyone getting so much cancer? Oh, why has everyone got so much diabetes? Oh, why is blah, 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 blah. Oh, here's all this issue. Oh gosh, all this prostate cancer, et cetera, et cetera. And you just keep hearing about this, and you're going, okay, none of that. I don't ever hear about stories of maybe they didn't have special words for it back in the medieval times or anything.
I'm gonna give you a whole new job today.
Let's do it.
Am I being recorded?
Yeah, this is the podcast.
Okay, so I actually want you to be kind of like my PA and hold the sides, and we're going to be going through shot lists and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're going to be holding this stuff.
Absolutely, and I want to shoot with the camera.
And we're going to be working with
Behind the scenes.
Scripty big time today. Okay?
That is Ryan McGonigal,
Blowing you a kiss.
MC Gonagel, as I like to call him. MC Gonagel. Nagel is the artist who did Rio.
Really?
Yeah, the Rio album for Duran.
Producer?
He just did the paintings.
Oh,
Yeah, Nagel. MC Gonagel. So, are you excited you're down to the last remnants of shooting this?
Yeah, but like dumb fucks, we save the hardest days for last. So, yeah. It's
The trade-off, so we don't have the kids to worry about.
Yeah, we almost killed Lawrence a couple times yesterday.
Yeah.
We literally had spotters at the end of the cliff, hoping that if he went too far off his marks, we had people to stop him from driving over.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and he fell a couple times. We chased him with a stunt driver at one point.
I heard that guy was swerving around like crazy, huh? He did a pretty good job.
Cool.
Yeah, and he had Grayson do this change pass at one point. And the first time he tried it, he just ate shit. Boom. Luckily, the van wasn't behind him, but it was pretty. I pushed, Grayson to his breaking point. His dad told me that, but he woke up today sore and was game. He did an audition at 4 o'clock today, so he's a professional. Gotta love that kid.
Yeah, he had a smile on his face in his Instagram photos today.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, he even went to the beach. I think he might have went to the beach after.
No, he did not go
Oh,
to
he
the
did
beach.
not?
Yeah, he was sunburnt yesterday.
Oh, no!
Yeah, he was.
He was out all day, huh?
That chubby little ginger was a lobster.
Boy, oh boy.
And so every time he fell, it hurt that much more.
Oh, no.
Like he was
Oh,
a gamer.
no.
Like we probably pushed him harder than any actor we've done this entire time.
Oh, my God.
And in an 8-hour span, he just killed it. Just absolutely killed it.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, it was great.
This is a phenomenal location.
Yeah.
Like Mike and I were just talking about, how do we figure out how to build a house on? How do I talk to the owner about building a house here?
Originally, this was a Cecil DeMille property.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and they shot movies here.
Oh my God!
And so when
What?
there was a tower up over there, that's what exploded and started the fires, the Silmar fires, a couple months ago. So everything is burnt. They lost horses in the fire.
Oh no!
You can see burnt out machinery, it just jumped. And if you walk up there, the main house burnt down, but like the guest house where like the in-law quarters, is up, and that's what we're working out of today. But walk around, it's creepy. You'll see burnt out stuff, but then we got
well, it's weird to see that they're like only certain places are touched, which is such a bizarre thing to see,
but look
right?
up on that hill, you have all those bushes that burnt, but
Oh,
you're getting growth on them. It's crazy.
how big? I mean, is this a huge property?
It's pretty damn
40
big.
acres. It goes farther back.
It goes way back over here.
And it goes up here, too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Like they have that burnt out bridge. They have a great little creek.
I was watching season 2 of Westworld last night, episode 9, and dude, just coming up this path, I'm going, oh my! I was just having flashbacks of
Oh,
Westworld.
for sure, yeah. Did you see the voodoo dolls?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great.
Mike was saying he was having Lawrence is having a tricky time hammering those to the.
He did, like I said, everything that he did for, being a kid, I think he did great. He did great.
God, this is incredible.
Look how steep these hills are. So we had him coming, busting down these hills.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we had to catch him a few times.
Whoa.
And then with the van chasing behind him. And sides.
Yeah, I'll show
Dude.
I have a video.
He was
when he-
pitching it sideways and everything.
When you pull up the camera, look for that. It's like one of the last things I shot. So he takes off down this bridge and the van's right behind him. But while he goes down, it's all camera tricks. So when he goes down like this, the van cuts out like this and does a huge peel out. And then Grayson goes off camera and the van,
Wow.
it was like total A-team shit.
Oh my God. Where did you find that guy? Where did you find the stunt driver?
He was on one of the sets of Black Pumpkin earlier with a drone.
Really?
Were you there the drone day?
I saw the
You showed
drone
up
there.
late. I think you showed up late that day.
Did they use the drone? Oh.
But we had the drone flying over traffic, people,
Really?
and cars are just kind of
Really? That's great.
yeah. It was about maybe that branch. That's how low it was, and so these cars would be driving, and they're just kind of looking at this drone as they're going under.
Wow. That's
Look at
incredible.
this little microphone.
Yeah, it's my podcast. We're here with Dan the man, the camera extraordinaire. Are you happy that we're coming to the end of this?
Of course.
Do you like this location?
I've seen better.
God, what a wise guy. Out of all the locations you've seen better, do you appreciate this one in its own right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this one's it's pretty
Are you
nice.
now just?
Are you already getting ideas as to maybe, do you want to shoot on this location besides this movie?
Maybe. I see these crests up here, and if you just get somebody running along that,
Oh, God, yeah.
that's one shot. So, yeah, I see that.
Ryan was telling me this used to be a Cecil B. DeMille property. Do you know about that? He said, I guess a bunch of movies were shot here. I saw an episode of season 2 of Westworld last night, and driving up here, I was getting all these flashbacks of Westworld. Just looking around, going, oh my God, that would be so great to shoot some West. I was sitting there thinking, I wonder if they shot some of the Westworld stuff out here. Do you know where they shot any of that?
Simi Valley for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. The backside in between Santa Paula and Simi Valley, that mountain range. Yeah, that's where that house is. From season 1, her
Yeah.
house. That's
Yeah.
where that is.
Wow. Have you've seen it in person?
I have not, but I know that just because I know some people that have shot there.
Is it like a private residence, or is it there specifically
No, it's a
for that
movie
kind of
range.
thing?
It's a movie range. Yeah, so you just rent it out. If you got the coin, you can shoot there. It's super expensive. I don't know, a couple grand a day, at least.
I just love this. Really does this. This is a perfect location for Diablo Stand. I think it's going to be awesome. What are your thoughts about how it's going to look in your brain, the blending together of what we shot in the backyard and what we're shooting here?
I think it'll blend. I mean, we're just gonna have a little campfire light in the way background, so when we cut in between the two, I think people will buy it. I hope.
That's cool.
If not, then just put a little filter on it. Cross dissolve. I don't know. That's all.
Once you started working behind the scenes stuff, was it? It's like once you see something, you can't unsee something. So once you started working behind the, doing camera work or whatever, working on movies, was it hard for you to look at movies and or TV shows from just simply an observer's perspective from that point forward?
Well, yeah, I think anybody that does any sort of a craft, they're going to look at whatever it is different. You know, baker's gonna eat pastries a little different. They're not gonna just
Yeah.
But that's when you know it's good. Is when you forget that shit and you're just watching whatever it is. That's when you're like, wow, that was good. I didn't even turn on my filmmaker brain during the whole thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's probably the mission of a filmmaker is to try to. It's like a magician, really. You know, you're trying to fool the other magicians out there, so they're not like, "Ooh, I see how you did that."
Or you look at them and you emulate it. You're like, oh wow, I like that.
Right.
I'm gonna steal that. Because yeah, if it works, then you can use it in your story, right?
How long have you been shooting stuff?
I don't know. It's a tough question. Since high school. So I don't even know how. I'll date myself if I say how long ago that was.
It was like one of those things where like you were out there with like a just shooting with your friends and stuff. Like, did you put together your own projects growing up? Because
Yeah,
I've got
of
some
course.
friends who were like that.
It's like snowboard films, skateboard films, and then my high school had a film class, or not film class, sorry, video class, and so you just like shoot little videos, emulate Saturday Night Live with sketches and stuff like that. And then when you're at the end of high school, they're like, "What are you gonna do with your life?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know, but I like doing this, so why don't I just keep doing that?" So yeah.
At what point, like, were you able to use any of that old footage, like, to make any, I don't want to necessarily say demo reel, but were you able to, like, squash any of that together to help for other things that might came along?
I didn't even know about a demo reel till way after that.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
that was all, we weren't going for anything technically proficient. It was just to dick around, So,
Well, like, for instance, when you were hired for your first project, what did you use to show them that what visual things did you have that you could show them?
I mean, I wasn't hired until I was in school. And so it was projects that I learned that I had in school that other people saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then so you just, like, kept connections with those folks, like, afterwards, and then, maybe just work with them on their projects after you graduated?
Yeah, that and my thesis film got a lot of attention for the cinematography, so that helped a lot. So that people were, contacting me based on that. But yeah, I mean, it's all network. It's all the people from film school. It's all the people you meet from your hometown. It's film festivals. It's everything.
I think knowing that idea of just the unknown circumstances of how you don't know how someone from your long ago is going to go pop back up and you're going to be able to work with each other is such a fascinating idea to me. That stuff just blows my mind all the time, especially when you go to college with people and then they end up doing stuff. My buddy Kevin was huge into gymnastics, like in high school. Phenomenal. Now he's a stuntman, so it's cool to see how he has evolved through the years. And then he ended up moving out here, so then I've worked with him on projects. But it's just amazing how there's that piece of magic that we ought to be able to factor into what we're doing, rather than just this like practical mind.
Where'd you grow up?
Chicago.
Okay.
Out in Chicago. And I just love that aspect where, like, one of the things that I learned, I went to Columbia College, and one of the things, because I was into acting and stuff, and what they would tell us is everything that you're working on is basically an audition for whatever your next project is. Whether you realize it or not, you're up there, and there are people in the audience who are writers or directors, who knows what, and they're going, "Oh, that guy would be good for this thing. Okay, I got to keep that in mind because I got my project coming up soon." And then before you know it, right? Did you notice that kind of happened with you?
They always say that you're only as good as your last project, which kind of sucks because sometimes you do things because you need to pay the bills, and it might not be a bad thing, but it might not be what you want your career to continue doing. Like if you step off and do like a corporate gig or this or that, you don't want that to be your only path. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what they always say. You're only.
Do you feel that that's kind of similar to like being typecast for an actor who's like always playing the cowboy or always playing the cop or whatever?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because I mean, if you play an amazing bad guy, you're like Sean Bean's amazing at dying, so they just make him die all the time.
We need a really phenomenal dead guy for this. Oh yeah, let's cast that guy, Hollywood's dead guy. That's just... So what would be What would be some of your, the dream projects that you'd like to do?
I don't know what you run out of battery on that thing.
I got 5 minutes left
Oh.
before, because it stops. It lets me know. I'm only allowed to have 60 minutes per recording.
Well, you need Jake Miller over here. He's you got to interview the sound guy.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh shit! Where is he? I gotta go find him.
He's down at the bottom.
All right, I got 5 minutes left to find him. Yeah, actually, follow me. I'll interview you while we're going to find him.
Hello,
Let's go find him. Let's go find him.
Let's go find
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go find Kurt.
All right, so we're here. How do we pronounce your last name?
Ogert. O-G-E-R-T.
So we're here with Kevin Ogert. He is the master. Are you a grip? What's your official title?
Gaffer, sir.
Oh, gaffer.
The high-end guy.
I'm still learning the official titles of these things. So you're a gaffer, and then what does that entail for those who want to know what a gaffer is?
So pretty much, Daniel says, I want this look. I'll get him that look.
Really? So you're recreating the lighting situation that they have in their brain?
So whatever Daniel wants, he would tell me kind of like a rough image. It's like, I want this to look this color, this light here, and I'll do it. I'll make sure it's diffused right, make sure it looks the right color. We have to do like plus and minus green type stuff because it shows a bit different camera. So everything you see on camera is Daniel telling me what to do.
Interesting. Holy moly. So you are painting. I mean, you're
with
painting the atmosphere.
With lights, painting with lights.
God, that's incredible. So all of those, like when you get that nice beam of sunlight on the wall and stuff, you're responsible for that, huh?
Yes, sir.
God,
Me and my crew of masked bandits.
Boy, that's incredible. How did you first get interested in that aspect of creating?
I was 16 back in New Hampshire when I first worked on my set, and ever since then I just had like an interest for just working on set, and I found lighting was my favorite part of it. Just painting with just color and lights is just so appealing to me.
Wow, that is so cool. And then plus you must feel so proud of yourself when you're able to actually match up what's in the imagination, what's in the brain of someone who goes, I want this thing, and then you do it, and then it turns out awesome on film.
It's always a very like good feeling you get in your stomach when you like see the final product and it's all colored and it's all edited and it just looks fantastic. But I see Jake is over there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Jake.
No, they started there.
We were right.
Oh, okay.
So they wanted.
So you guys, we have 3 minutes left on this podcast until it's fully. That was like. Hi, good to see you again.
Hi.
Hey. This is great. This is like the real Diablo's Den out here. It's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
So, okay, real quick, I have 3 minutes. So, tell everybody your name and what you're doing in today's production.
Okay, hi, my name is Alex Schwartz. I'm playing Ashley, the hot nerd. Today I am finding a voodoo doll and getting ready for a sex scene for tomorrow.
Yes, in the
Stabbin' Cabin. I'm excited about that one.
That's good. We're out. What does that feel like to like be in the actual woods in the real location?
It feels pretty cool. You just like inspired, and it like sets the mood around you like instantly. Like you know what it's like to be in the woods because you're in the woods.
Just the ride up here was like every 5 seconds. I'm like, whoa! It was just so cool. It seems so different than the rest of Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've never really been up here.
Oh God. I have.
In full confession, I stepped on my.
Okay. I'll interview you again. Okay. Can you let the at-home viewers, listeners,
You sound fantastic.
know your name and your role? And
Yes, my name is Connor Weil. I'm playing the role of Ace, which is the younger brother stoner kid. And tonight I'm going to be shooting my death scene, which is going to be phenomenal. We have a lot of great crew members who've been working on special effects with makeup, and it's going to look great. Everything's been looking fantastic. So tune in to see it. It's going to be pretty sweet.
Black Pumpkin, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're going to talk with Mr. Sound Engineer. We have a minute and 15 seconds, so please tell everyone your job and let them know who you are.
Hello, my name is Jacob Miller. I'm the sound designer, location sound guy, more or less. And that's what I'm doing. I do location sound, put mics on people, make sure everyone sounds good, make sure the movie sounds good.
What first interested you in doing sound?
It's got to be something that you just love, like you're just born with it. And that was the first sound class we had in film school. Like, everyone goes to film school wanting to be writer-director, but like, we're not saying it's impossible, but we are saying to have a secondary skill. And so I'm looking forward. They have the sound class, and like, I've just been predisposed to that, like, my whole life. It's perfect. Like, I'm like looking into Star Wars sound design, Jurassic Park sound design. I can like tell people like how they made them, that kind of thing. It's just so,
Oh my God.
It's just so much fun.
That's incredible.
Like the classic TIE Fighter, it's a elephant trumpet slowed down a lot, and then the sound of a car driving by in the rain.
Incredible.
I love it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Dude. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard another episode of Inspirado Projecto podcast. Tune in for more later.